So it's working because I just saw it.
You went live already?
Yeah.
See, I've been hustling for a long time. Long flights, long days, my nigga, long nights. Fuck friends, only on that shit be alright. Dog fight, walk by, I'm talking on site. Green like T for J, the pink, let's set it off right. Mind your business, you should only flex it the times right. Fuck these bitches, bad decisions come from the wrong time. Now it's murder, she roll. It's not the personal life, just gotta manage you, ayy. I got the world in my hands, I drop my nuts on the turf. And if I spoke of my plans, it take way more than a first. I put my family first, though my family curse. And my city is dry, but them hammers is work. I put a lot on my temple before I walk into work. I done done so much dirt, I can stand to walk in the church. When the world play against you, remember who kept it 100. Never talk down to your brother, especially to a woman. Seem like niggas steer away from this code we follow. Make a real motherfucker's heart cold and hollow. Every L I bounce back like MJ in the clutch. I build all relationships on dedication and trust. Long time, long flights, long days, my nigga, long nights. Fuck friends, only on that shit be alright. Dog fight, walk by, I'm talking on site. Green like T for J, the pink, let's set it off right. Mind your business, you should only flex it the times right. Fuck these bitches, bad decisions come from the wrong time. Now it's murder, she roll. It's nothing personal, no, just gotta learn as you grow. I'd rather be rich than famous. Big vacations, restaurants, solo $100 tips to waitress. Man, my flow so fucking dope. Had to switch my neighbors. You got what you had to man that equal instant paper. Fake love for friends, smaller cheap with strangers. Fake hoes with motors, but them hips bodacious. My click on bounce back, no click on snooze. 40, my whip on cruise. 40, your bitch on choose. 40, beefing with niggas, misunderstanding from hoes plot. Sprinkling gossip, dick sucking for more follows. I fade away from it like MJ in the clutch. I build all relationships on dedication and trust. Long time, long flights, long days, my nigga, long nights. Fuck friends, only on that shit be alright. Dog fight, walk by, I'm talking on site. Green like T for J, the pink, let's set it off right. Mind your business, you should only flex it the times right. Fuck these bitches, bad decisions come from the wrong time. Now it's murder, she roll. It's nothing personal, no, just gotta learn as you grow.
Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video, a live stream. I'm the host here, Wood. I got my man on the line. We getting ready to talk a little bit Ohio boxing, boxing in general, and then also some a big fight for himself and his fighter coming up next Saturday on the Plus. That's ESPN Plus. Welcome into the show. Friend of the program for the last few years, actually. He's been on the podcast and whatnot. But I'm chopping it up with Lamar Wright out of Toledo, Ohio. What's good, boss?
How you doing? How you doing? Appreciate you having me.
Thanks, man. I don't know what's going on with this right now because, like I told you, I got some computer issues going on. But some things on my screen look good. Some other things look a little questionable. But we'll get into it here in a second. But what's going on with you, man? Just in general.
Nothing, man. Just been in this gym and making sure things are right. Getting prepared. It's been a busy season of boxing, and we're coming in with our biggest fight of the year. We're going to end it with our biggest fight of the year right here next week.
All right, we'll jump into that in just a second. Oh, now I wonder why I couldn't see. I wasn't seeing the right stuff on my phone. So okay, now here we go. There we go. Well, let's step back for a second. Like I said, offline, It's a little laggy in the phone, just for anybody that is tuning in to the live stream and whatnot. Like I said, right now I'm in between getting some. Once a year you got to get your computer, your laptop, or whatever kind of cleaned up, and I think I'm right on that year. So sometime next week I got to get this joint working so that it's not all this lagging and whatnot going on. So it might not look good visually. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad just on the audio part of it. But, I thank anybody for tuning in, and we'll get into it. Look, man, you and your 140-pound prospect was working his way, solidifying himself as a contender at a super lightweight. He went to go and defend his title last week in the D.C. area, a charitable event. I think that was the last one for D.C. Fight Night or something of that nature. You guys were facing Samuel Tia, veteran, fighter out of Philadelphia. Both of you guys have been on, on the Showbox series. You with Sonny Fredrickson, and then Tia had been on there a couple of times. I think he got the win over Bossman Sims. So you guys came up on the the bad side of a decision in a it was kind of a close fight, man. Just you were there live. I was watching it on the phone. What was your thoughts on how things played out for you guys?
I think that's a fight that they truly took the champion's title. It still is not sitting right with me. These guys' livelihoods. This is what they train for. This is what they work hard for. This is what they wake up for. This is what they do to take care of their families, to pay their bills, and for them just to take a fight away like that, it doesn't make any sense. But like I was telling you before the interview started, a judge who had it a draw, she actually came and told me, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be putting it out there, but she told me like, hey, I think your guys' biggest mistake was fighting an area fighter in DC. So all that, even with that being said, you pay sanctioning fees to the IBF to ensure that there will be mutual and non-biased judging there. And that night we didn't have it. And I think the biggest lesson that we learned was to not let it go to the scorecard. But there was a lot of fluky stuff happening during the fight. I know you've seen it around the fourth round. Sonny had Tay, pretty damaged, real fatigued. Sonny was, turning up, and then out of nowhere he gets an extra 3-minute break. Them saying something was wrong with the ring. I don't know what was wrong with it. And then it happened again after the ninth round. He got an even longer break because they saying there were some difficulties with the ring. I'm still bothered by the decision, and but I think it woke us up to realize what business we're in and how biased it can be when you're fighting people close to their hometown. And but I think it definitely put a fire back under us, and it just lets us know that if we can't trust the judges, so we can't let these fights go into the judges' hands.
Yeah, it was tough to watch because, like I told you, I tuned in. Sonny had put it out there that he was gonna have somebody live streaming it, so I made sure to check him out from his Facebook page. So I don't have the best of view. It was like you were mic'd up. I was hearing some different things in the corner. Whoever was recording it, I was hearing their reaction to things, and kind of the takeaway that I got from it was, I thought it was close going into the 10th. just because I'm familiar with judging. And then I just from there I just felt like you got to be able to because of what you just stated, not knowing what judges are in the house, not depending on where you are, the proximity of the team to to the event and who your opponent, where they're from. It's a lot of stuff that factor into it. And I was just, like I said, it was a little too close for my comfort going into the 10th round. And in winning the fight, I think you just got to be mindful of, you got to do enough to not allow the other guy to even look competitive. And I think Sonny spent a little too much time in close quarters with the guy when he was tired, when he was hurt. And I think, like I mentioned before we got on the live stream, I just felt like those arm punches, that stuff shouldn't be counted when your guy is landing the heavier shots. But you just never know with some of this different judging across the country.
Yeah, I mean, and I can agree to that, and I can see where people coming from. But this is professional boxing. This is not amateur boxing.
Right.
So this is a sport that's built to score on big blows because it's entertainment. So everybody has to understand professional boxing is entertainment first. And this is the reason why they say the big blows are the most scoring blows, because they want entertainment. They don't want guys in there pity-patting each other. That's amateurish. So to me, those punches were ineffective. They were just punches that were being thrown. In between those shots, Sonny was catching him with, big shots. He was obviously being rattled. Not one time was Sonny ever rattled in a fight, but you can see Sam Taya, he's being pushed all over the ring, getting wobbled from big shots. So, excuse me, it's just, I don't know what they were scoring. I don't know what they were seeing. And back to your point to where you're saying, well, you just don't know what type of judges you're getting and what their area is from. We were the USBA champion. We pay a sanctioning fee to the IBF to ensure that they bring mutual judging and no biased judging, and that was not done. There was no IBF judges there. And we paid a sanctioning fee for what?
Damn.
We paid a sanctioning fee for what? We paid a sanctioning fee for what? That's what I'm asking. Where were the judges that you guys are supposed to do? When we pay a sanctioning fee, when you take in a percentage out of these fighters' purses, and then when the promoter is paying you to put the belt on the line, that's a big lump sum too. We are supposed to be, the fight is supposed to be equipped with judges that are non-biased, that are not I can see, say, okay, you got one DC judge, you got one Midwest judge, and you have a mutual judge. That's the way it's supposed to be. If you watch any championship fight, anybody out there that doesn't know boxing, pay attention to where these judges are from. They're not going to be all East Coast judges, but that's the case that we had. That was the case that we had. If that was the case, we should have went there and fought for just a regular fight, and not for a title, because that's what happens in lower level club fights. You get the judges that are just hanging out in your gym, and that's what happened to it. It was an injustice.
Now, you've been quite, your travels as a chief second have taken you, pretty far to several different situations and whatnot. Were you familiar with any of these three judges that you guys had working the fight?
I did not know any of the judges. I didn't know any of the judges at all. No, I didn't.
Damn.
And you should be able to know these judges if they're IBF judges.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like they were more concerned with just taking the sanctioning fees and a percentage stuff to fighters first, and then making it a non-biased fight.
And that's what's crazy, because when I clicked on the link to watch the fight, I hear Michael Buffer's voice, and I'm like, oh, this is big time. This is okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful event. I'm not taking nothing away from the event. The event did what they were supposed to do. They paid the sanctioning fees to have the title fight, and the fighters paid their purse percentages to make sure it was a fair fight, and to make sure that they were bringing in judges that will score the fight fairly. So, we didn't have that. So nothing against the event. It's a beautiful event. I'm sad to see it go because it did so much for the at-risk teams in the inner city of the area, and that's what I'm all about. So it was nothing against the event. It was a beautiful event. It's the way it was handled, through the sanctioning.
Now, and it takes away, man, because I saw the pictures. I think you guys took some pictures with Naughty by Nature. Like I said, it had to be a rush, for Sonny to be introduced by, the legendary Michael Buffer and the whole "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" and all that stuff. I mean, he's a younger guy. I think what is Sonny, 26?
25.
25. I would imagine like this whole process was pretty dope for him, and like you said, man, I like I said, me watching the sport and reporting on it and covering it the way I have the last few years, incidentally since I met you guys, I had my concerns and whatnot, and it just that's unfortunate. But I will say, I have encouraged brothers and anybody that listens to that checks out the channel, has listened to, watches any of my videos week to week. I have encouraged brothers to get off the couch, man, and to start. I actually had a link that I was offering. It was a referee and judging certification course that took place last month. And I was like, a lot of us follow this game, man. And I mean, and it's fighters out here that need people that want to do a good job. You got guys that tweet, put on Instagram and on Twitter what they judge the card. They got different apps out here where you can post your score from a fight. And I'm like, man, that ain't good enough. You can do more, you can do better. And if that's what you really like to do, go do it. Go do it for real. And it just seems like one of those situations. I saw a brother down in Cincinnati, take a draw on his record in a fight that he clearly won. And after the fact, I find out that 2 of the 3 judges were actually members of the medical team. That were there doing 2 jobs.
That's boxing.
And it's a heavyweight guy that that affects his money, to his earning ability, to go somewhere, because you don't always see heavyweight fights at some of these club shows.
Right.
So that's just my nugget to that. But the Sonny thing that you guys had to travel back together and whatnot, had to go out and eat afterwards, or, do y'all stuff together, man. What do you think about the experience? I did see what he put on Facebook.
He felt that, his belt was taken from him. And you got to remember, this is a title that he won at the same event last year. And he felt that, it was taken from him, and they like to fire him. He wants to, Sonny's ready and eager to get back in there. He's asking for the biggest fights that he can get right now to prove to everyone. Look, they took my title. I didn't lose this fight. They took it, and I could still throw hands with the best of them in there. And I believe that he can. And, and I know that Sonny is a future world champion. We had some bumps in the road. But it's about, how we're going to come back from this and be much better. And so, Sonny knows what it is. And, he knows that his title got taken and he's ready to get back in there.
Now, is it a concern of you guys, anytime you take a loss in this sport, the future gets a little less certain, and we just mentioned here about club shows and all of that. You know, is there a concern either on your behalf or you know, from Sonny himself that, you know, now you might have to go to you know, he might have to go back up to Detroit or, you know,
No,
another.
that's not a concern because you still got to remember he's still a world rated fighter. Um, he's still a world, he's 25 years old. That's what people are not looking at. You know, it's not like it's the end of the world because he's 35 and out the door. He's 25 years old. He's got a full career in front of him. He's got still all the potential in the world in front of him. We gotta go steal somebody's juice right now. We gotta go steal somebody else's juice right now.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it moving. We're gonna get on to this next segment, and I might cut it a little short, man, just because of the simple fact I'm not sure what the computer is actually putting out, what my computer is actually putting out to YouTube, and I'd hate to spend a lot of time having a great conversation, a good interview, and nobody's really getting to see it, and I'm not seeing a good signal on my. I'm watching this on my cell phone, and I don't know what's going on, but my laptop is really not indicating that there's a major problem. So I'm a little concerned what's really out there. But
Okay.
so I keep refreshing my phone. I don't know. I'm just a little concerned. Like I said, man, I gotta go get this man his money. Take it away from my travel budget for my IT budget, I guess. But anyway, man, you guys have a huge fight coming up next Saturday on the Plus. 10 p.m. I think Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time will be the time that it's streaming on the Plus. And this is a humongous challenge, a phenomenal opportunity though for your super featherweight, Tyler McCreary, another world ranked fighter. And I had to tell you, man. I mean, we were standing together in Chicago when this kind of came together. I didn't really know what I.
He was one of the first. Yeah, he was one of the first ones. No, well, no, I thought I had something big for you.
Yeah, I didn't really know what I didn't really know what I was hearing bits and pieces of. But a couple days later, I put two and two together, and you guys just got a phenomenal opportunity. So let's talk about it, man. I mean, Tyler McCreary. What is he now? 16-0-1 or 17-0-1?
16-0-1.
16-0-1. Going up against a former world champion in Carl Frampton. It's up here on the screen. Las Vegas. It is what it is, man. It's here. 3 years later after I met you guys, what's the attitude going into this one?
Man, we're just, we are elated that we have this opportunity in front of us, man. We thank Jay Prince Management, Antonio Leonard Promotions, Top Rank Promotions, and also, we thank Carl Frampton for giving us this opportunity. This is what we all been waiting for right here, and we just can't wait till next week. We're ready and can't wait.
Now, the last time out was against the Jesse Chris Rosales, I believe, in Washington D.C. at the MGM National Harbor. That was McCreary's first time up at 130, right?
Correct.
And I don't know why we didn't get a chance to link up there. I know I did talk to Tyler, but
I had seen that you were there. I'm like, man, I didn't even see it.
yeah, I don't know what was going on that night, but I guess people was moving and shaking and whatnot. But I talked to Tyler after the fight, and we did our interview, and I kept it funky with him. It was odd that I felt like he didn't really get into a great rhythm for himself and really establish his jab. He's always boasted about his jab, and I just felt like that night for some reason he couldn't get it. He didn't get it really going. But what's your takeaway from that fight? I know this is at a catch weight at 128 actually, but coming out of that fight, You know, what was the things that you wanted to address as his trainer?
It wasn't too much, man. We just needed to stay busy. See, everybody is forgetting the fact that, you know, out of 24 months, man, the kid was, you know, he was sitting for like 22 months. You know, and Tyler's a type of fighter who needs to be active, needs to be busy. He can't be sitting on the shelf and be promised fights, and we're training for fights, and the fights are not happening. You know, we did that for so long, man. It just got old and tiring and weighing on someone mentally. And you know, the thing is, we just needed to get, we needed to get busy. You know, we needed to have some action, some contact, and we got that. You know, we got that, and you know, this is the third fight this year, and everybody on November 30th will see Tyler McCreary in his true form. Everybody will see Tyler McCreary, the golden child, on how we've all been thinking, how we've all been seeing Tyler. Everybody in the whole world will see that come November 30th.
All right, I'm getting ready to go live on the. I'm going live on Instagram, so I hope people can hear this on here. I'm just not too sure what's going.
I think your feed is working on the line.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. I clicked on it a little bit, and I could hear something. Yeah, it's still going. It's still going. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just in case, man, I don't like wasting nobody's time, and that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like wasting nobody's time, and I'm serious about what I do. So I hate to tie you up and get all this stuff out here, and you know, it's not really going where it need to go. But anyway, I like, and that's what I say. So that's why part of why I wanted to talk to you, because of the fact that I told you I listened to Carl Frampton called in to the XM boxing show yesterday. Look at all my junk over here in the background. Carl Frampton called into the XM, the new XM boxing show, the Akin Barak show on Fight Nation every day, noon and 3:00, and they asked Carl some questions, and they didn't even know McCreary's name. And I'm like, damn, you know.
They'll know it after November 30th. They'll know it, I promise. So, you know, we don't stress about that. I know. Frampton knows it, man. So.
Right.
But we gonna get there, man. You know, we ain't stressing on that too much. But I promise you that everybody will know who Tyler McCreary is November 30th.
Now, along with this, you know that the boxing world is pretty cold. You know, a large portion of the following really only tap into about 4 or 5 names, if that many. So I could imagine that sitting here and seeing a kid like, you know, you see Frampton, which they might know of from the Santa Cruz fights, maybe the Warrington fight. And, you know, they see McCreary on the B side of it, and they're like, who the hell is this kid? And but what gives you confidence that it was a great idea in you guys moving forward with this fight when it was presented to you?
I mean, so how does everybody needs to break in somehow, in some way? Carl Frampton did it with Leo Santa Cruz. Nobody knew who he was at that time, but you know, he did have a title. Everybody gets known by the big fights. When this fight was presented to us, I told Tyler, and I said, hey, Tyler, they said they got Carl Frampton for us. Without thinking, he said, I'm on it. I want it. I seen the glow in his eyes, I seen the excitement, and I seen the determination of him wanting this fight. And we took the fight with there was no, I'm talking about the fight was made like a snap of a finger. There was no back and forth with us about nothing. The only thing, man, it was 28, bench weight. I don't know what that's about. I don't know, you moving up to 130, fight at 130, but we're comfortable there. You know, we're comfortable at 28, so I don't know what the catch weight is about. You got Frampton, who's, you know, he's older. He's 32 years old. been in a lot of wars. He's been inactive for a year. He's coming off a broken hand. And then you got Tyler, young, hungry, and has been training his whole career for a fight like this. So why not take it? How do you pass? How do you pass up a fight like that?
Now one thing that Frampton mentioned on the and I know you just asked this question, but one thing that he mentioned about the 128 catch weight, I guess, was he kind of wanted to be in a position to where he can signal to the champions at 126 or 130 that he's.
Man, listen, that shit don't matter. I don't even believe that shit. That shit does not matter. You declared that you was moving up to 130. I don't know. I'm gonna sit in the middle because I can go up or down. You know, I don't know what that shit doesn't matter. I don't even know what he means by that shit. You know, the catch weight was to try to say that we were the bigger man. He thinks he's training the bigger man. We comfortable right now. We're good. We're ready. If the fight was to happen today, we'll be ready.
So now, did it present any problems for you guys? You know, he was getting ready. Tyler was getting ready for this kid, Matt Conway or whatever. You know, I was looking forward to checking him out against him. He was another undefeated kid from PA. You know, was it a huge change up to stop preparing for that style and to prepare for Frampton's game?
I mean, not really. You know, Tyler was already in shape. We were already sharp because we got the call, I think, 2 weeks before his initial fight was supposed to happen on October 26th. So you know, we were ready, sharp, and so then they gave us they effed up and gave us 6 or 7 more weeks to train. So you know, the atmosphere just got bigger. You know, more people were there motivating us. We added more people to the camp, and so you know, I think it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer.
Now, you know, Frampton's went 1-1, you know, officially with Santa Cruz, who, you know, has started popping up. I see him popping up on some pound for pound lists. And, you know, he also has a fight against Warrington. So, you know, he's a guy that's established in terms of being a world-class fighter and demonstrating that ability.
Who hasn't he fought, though, Wood? Who hasn't he fought? Who hasn't Frampton fought? You look at all his opponents and tell me, who hasn't he fought?
Right. So
I'm talking about he's fought everybody that's been in front of him, that needs to be in front of him. And when he's lost to everyone who boxed his ass. But he's never fought a brother. He's never fought a brother. That ain't weird to you? You're a two-time, two-division weight champion, and you never fought a brother. Come on, man.
And I'm with that. I've said this I've complained about this myself, that, and and for me, it's not particularly a black and white thing, or, you know, black.
No, it's not. But each ethnic groups of fighters, they bring something different. You know what I'm saying? It's something different. So it's not about being, you know, it's the way they fight different. You know.
Right, and that's what I said. I never wanted people to just focus on it as a some kind of racist thing, because I was actually talking about, I don't see enough young black fighters fight other black fighters. You know, we keep pitting these guys against the Asians, Latinos, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm like you just said, I want to see how these styles clash. And it just seems like a story that we don't get to see too often. But I will say, you know, in Frampton's not in his defense, but as what makes this fight intriguing, and what made, you know, the fights against Santa Cruz intriguing is he's not the typical you know, he's not that robotic European. I think he moves pretty well in the ring. And I guess where I was going with the question, man, is just like, what do you think is the I know you can't give too much, you don't want to give anything away, but you know,
the game plan is not rocket science. not rocket science. You can see the physics, and that's what we're going to do. Tyler is going to be the best at what he. Listen, we prepared Tyler to be the best Tyler. The best Tyler. We prepared Tyler to do the great things that Tyler does. We're not worried about Frank. We got to be on our A game. We got to be able to make the adjustments that we see that need to be made, and Tyler's been doing it throughout camp. Man, I'm telling you, like I've never been more confident, more relaxed. It's just Tyler, he knows it's his time, and he's gonna step up, and Tyler knows what's on the line, and if we want to be a world champion, Frampton has to move out the way. We got to get Frampton out of our way, and we will get Frampton out of our way. So it's not rocket science as to what the game plan is, and but Tyler's so versatile. Fuck around and hit Frampton with a kick to sing. You don't know what he's gonna bring, but I'm telling you, he's gonna love it. I'm gonna tell you.
What is there? What do you think is the What's something very early on, that you're kind of that you as a trainer, you was watching this sport all the years that you watched it, all of the knowledge that you soaked up from all the other trainers and whatnot that you worked with, and being around world champions like Robert Easter Jr. and whatnot. What's something early on in that first minute, maybe even during the ring walk? What's something that you want to see, or you'll be monitoring your fighter for to make sure that he's truly ready for the moment?
It's something that you just know. You know that before you even make the ring walk. But I mean, he's ready for the moment in camp. But when you get to the fight, man, you got a bunch of emotions going, a bunch, just a bunch of stuff is going on. But when that ring walk happens, it pretty much goes away. Just lock in on tunnel vision and time to run.
And I'm asking that because I thought that was one of the, you guys actually know very well in Albert Bell. When I see his name pop up, on a notification about him facing a more experienced fighter like Andy Vince said, somebody we had nationally, we may have known about, some people outside of Ohio and whatnot might not have known about Albert.
No one gave that man a chance either, man. I told everybody when that fight was happening, I told everybody, I said, man, Albert is more ready than people are believing in him. He's about to go upset the apple cart. Albert upset the apple cart. Nobody knew who Albert was, and everybody said he wasn't ready. Man, they just need the opportunity. Give these dudes the opportunity, man, and they will rise to the occasion and show you what they're all about. They will show you their skills. They'll show you that they belong there, and they'll show you that they're ready to be a world champion. And that's the same thing that we're going to do. They gave us the opportunity, man. We appreciate it, and we're going to cash in on this opportunity. We're going to make the best of it. We know what's at stake. We want to be world champions, and Carl Frampton's in the way. So, and I'm glad you brought up Albert, man, because it was the same story when I went out. It's the same story. He hasn't fought anybody. He hasn't went past 6 rounds. He went out there and dominated, and looked great. And then now everybody know who Albert is, and Albert's close, very close to a world title shot that I know that he's gonna bring home.
Right, and that's
exactly what we're gonna do.
And that's what all I was really getting to was, I had some questions because I knew Albert, had been fighting in this region, and playing his role, in the undercards of fights, and then being at the top of, in the main events of club shows and whatnot. But when I saw him come out on ESPN, I think he was on ESPN, the Plus. When I saw him and his father walk out on that ring walk, I was like, damn, Albert relaxed as hell.
Yeah, he looked like a completely different fighter, man, than any of his other fights. So it's just, you gotta, these dudes get these opportunities, man, and especially where we come from, man, we are literally, everyone from Toledo, man, is punching their way out of poverty, man. Like, they're hungry for it, man. They want it. And that's, man, like, to know that you're going to change your life and it's right there in front of you, man, you got to move them out. Got to move them out, man. And I'm telling everybody, man, stay like something special is gonna happen on November 30th.
I will say that, while Akinbarak didn't really know, and didn't take the time to familiarize himself and be respectful, of Tyler McCreary, who's earned this opportunity. Frampton did say, he did express he did extend some or display some respect towards McCreary, and mentioned a couple of times that he had to focus on the task at hand before he could even get into entertaining Herring or Valdez or even Shakur Stevenson. So he did show some respect towards this week's opponent. I also saw, man, and I don't know if you guys saw this or I don't know if you saw this. I know you don't get on Twitter a whole lot, but Jamel Herring did come out and say, watch out. That people are talking about him and Frampton, but Jamel Herring himself was quick to remind folks that some consideration and people should tune in and check out what McCreary does.
Yeah, and I respect Jamil, but Jamil knows Tyler.
Right.
He knows Tyler from training in Cincinnati. He knows how talented Tyler is, and so that's why he's saying that. He's right by saying it, but I feel like we've been Tyler's been getting overlooked, and every interview I see Frampton in, he's always talking about what's next. Brother, you need to focus on Tyler, because we're not focusing on what's next. We're focusing on November 30th. We're not, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing ourselves being victorious November 30th. And then after that, then we can focus on that. But right now, it's only Frampton that we're worried about.
I don't know, if you consider this giving anything away, but what's one thing that you think could possibly trouble Frampton against McCreary?
Everything, because he's never fought a fighter like Tyler. He's never had to deal with the type of things that Tyler is going to be presenting in front of him. He's never seen that. And, Frampton, I got to, you got to respect Frampton because he is a two-division world champion. But he's never fought, and I'm just being factual here. He's never fought a fighter like Tyler. He's never fought a fighter who has the attributes of Tyler. He's never had it. So he's got to be worried about everything. He's got to be worried about. I can't give too much away, but he's got to be worried about everything.
Right. I know Tyler and Sonny are pretty, pretty close. I know they train together. You guys have
Brothers, man, they started together.
Taking some trips together and all of that. So, do you think there's anything positive or a benefit from Tyler seeing the situation unfold with recently with Sonny? Do you think that's something that he keeps in mind about maximizing this opportunity that's in front of him?
Yeah, that's a good thing about being in a good stable, man. Everybody learns from each other. You learn from the good things, you learn from the bad things. So, and it can motivate, it motivates them all. On our team, we rebound for each other. So that everybody learns from each other, and it gives motivation, good or bad. So that's a good thing about being in a good stable.
One thing that I've mentioned is I think and it just happened with Stevenson, and it also happened with Robert Easter Jr. With some of these guys who go into the championship fight, and fight for and I know Tyler's not fighting for a world title, next Saturday, but
that's what we fight for. I don't know, that's how we train.
Right.
It's our title fight.
But I'm just saying, do you think it's a major benefit to Tyler to face a guy like you said, a 2-division champion? Do you think this bodes well for him long term? Whereas some of these guys, like I said, they don't actually go and beat a world champion to become a champion. Devin Haney's another one. Devin Haney's another one right now that's going into that situation where you become a champion without actually.
That's not their fault, though. That's not their fault. All them guys, Stevenson, Devin Haney, they were there. They earned the opportunity to be there, and the belt happened to be vacant. So, that's not their fault. Given the opportunity, I guarantee you any of them guys will be the world champion. So I don't think it makes a difference because even though they didn't fight the world champ, they didn't actually beat the actual champion, but they fought good opposition that was on championship level. So I can't say, oh, that makes us better because we're beating a former champion, or because that's not their fault. They fought hard, trained hard to get where they were, and the belt happened to be vacant, and they got the opportunity.
All right. Like I said, I know you can't get too much away.
But hold on, but with the Robert though, before Robert fought for his vacant title, he did knock out the only one to knock out former world champion and
Mendez.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. I did forget about that. But so look, man, I saw who all I saw where he was getting in some rounds with my man up in Jericho, up in Detroit. Is that a benefit in terms of is he close to well, I know he's a couple weight classes below, but is he close in terms of height or anything, or was that?
Yeah, he's close. Jericho's man, a phenomenal boxer. Speed, good power. He's got that he's got that Detroit dog in him. So anytime he gets in there, man, it's always great work, and he's just pushing, and and then our other sparring partner, man, it was just so great to see that training camp and see that sparring, and then just see that Tyler evolved during the camp, and all we thank everybody who helped us prepare for this fight.
Right. Now, one thing I told you when we were talking in Chicago, I think I mentioned I was impressed when I saw the video start popping up of Tyler working with the strength and conditioning. Thanks for the feedback there, CC Carlos Castillo, man. I'm fighting through it tonight. I got some computer issues. I'm gonna have to go get my laptop cleaned up. So I wasn't even sure kind of what's going on with the live stream tonight, but I just wanted to talk some boxing. I hadn't been on in a couple of weeks, so I apologize for the quality of the live stream and whatnot, but thanks for letting me know that it is viewable out there, because I would hate to waste Coach's time. And,
Oh, man, I like this, man. Don't nobody ever want to interview me, man. I'm happy. In the candy shop right now, man.
Well, that's why I'm saying I didn't want it to be a bad experience that people couldn't go back and watch nothing later on. So I caught the he don't fight brothers, then lost my connection. Well, he wasn't saying that he doesn't fight brothers. He was saying that he hadn't fought brothers. But anyway, we'll come back to that. Let me know if you have any questions, Carlos Castillo, and thanks for tuning in out from the West Coast and whatnot. But yeah, I forgot where I was going, man. Oh, I mentioned in Chicago that coming out of the fight with Rosales, and he was very down to earth about Tyler was very down to earth about not kind of getting into his offense the way that he wanted to. But I just thought it was real dope, man, once I started seeing the strength and conditioning videos pop up, and to see him pushing himself and investing in himself. So you've been with him every day. Is this the first time that he's really winning, did like some extra, performance enhancement training, or, additional strengthening?
Stay away from the performance enhancements. We don't do that. But
I'm struggling. What's the word called? Not
strength and conditioning.
Well, we can leave it at that then. I meant performance training. Maybe I meant performance training.
Yeah. So motivate and get the most out of Tyler. And Tyler's been enjoying it. He's been enjoying it. And Jay, I'm talking about, man. I look at some of Jay's work, like, man. If I was doing it, my big ass would have been shut off from a heart attack. But Jay's real great at what he does, man. He's just all around. Some people are good at what they do, but they still don't know how to motivate and really show people. But Jay's that guy, man. He don't. Jay just wanted to do what he does. And, Jay don't interfere and nothing else. So yeah, Jay. I mean, I think that's the difference. Jay is, he's good at what he does, and he's able to motivate and get the max and get the most out of the guys that he's training. And Jay is also the one who is training Albert and strength and conditioning, and also Robert Jr. So, his work shows the time that he puts in with these guys, and it shows in his fights.
Okay. No, Carlos. Frampton really hasn't said anything along any lines of race and whatnot. I just went on to make a comment myself that I think one of the things that I think is being cheated, how boxing fans are being cheated nowadays, is that we don't see, we just don't see different ethnicities facing one another, so that we can see how. How the skills of guys from different backgrounds and whatnot, just how they match up with one another, and I was mentioning earlier, I don't think we see a lot of young black fighters face one another, and I keep getting the same story of a black fighter face a Mexican, another Mexican, then fight a Puerto Rican guy, but we never see the two black guys fight together. And I just want to see a different story sometimes. It's not.
And let me clean that up too as well. Like, this has nothing to do about race at all. What I was stating was, different regions or different people. They all have different. When you fight, call it Mexican style. You're gonna get that guy who's gonna come down, nose to the floor, and he's gonna give you everything that you want. Then you got the African style. And it's just different styles. So it's nothing about the race, but it's different styles that each group brings differently. So I don't want people taking that out of context like, he's saying it's nothing about race. Nothing about race at all. Hell, I'm half Irish. My mother's Irish.
but
that's the truth. That's the truth.
Right.
That's the truth.
But not only that, I mean, it's different rhythms. I think it's a different type of, like you said, it's different types of dogs. It's different types of fight. It's something to it that I think is a beautiful. It shouldn't have a negative connotation towards boxing. If you've been watching this thing long enough, that it's certain, it's certain things that fighters from different backgrounds bring to the table. And like I said, sometimes I get tired of watching the same story unfold and mix it up a little bit. But like I said, with this additional focus, on doing some different things, just have you seen anything different in Tyler's explosiveness? His footwork, reflexes, or anything? Or is it a different type of confidence, that he's exuding? Any major payoff that you're seeing from this?
So yeah, like I said, the focus was to make Tyler great at everything that he does. You see the confidence raise every week in camp, and you see everything that gets better, and then you just see it. I don't know how to explain it, man. You got to be like in camp to see it. It's like seeing like a flower like blossom, and that's your end product is that rose. And you just got to be involved in the camp, for that many weeks and just see like, hey, everything's right, everything's popping on all cylinders.
Right. Along with Jericho Quinn, anybody else that any other major or different sparring partners, you guys been able to work with just to change things up?
Yeah, we had Chase Nelson working, who's also a tremendous talent, and that came in, and he actually kind of looks like Frampton, man. I don't know if you know Chase Nelson, but
I've seen
we're calling him Baby Frampton.
I've seen the name before.
So we had him, and we had a few other people just mixing it in, rotating it, making sure he's getting fresh looks and yeah.
Now I know Tyler just based on age group and whatnot, and then the circles that he's traveled in. I know he has a relationship with Javante Tank Davis, Robert Easter Jr. obviously, Adrian Broner. Who else? I see he's had a relationship sparked between, I guess, from the Jay Prince connection. Him and Joshua Greer Jr. have had a relationship kind of develop and whatnot. What's the encouragement that he's receiving from these guys? Just in talking shop as young guys, like you said, trying to punch their way out of that poverty.
Man, it's been the support that he's been getting from his fellow brothers in boxing, man, it's just been tremendous. And that itself that plays a big role, man. Just your support group, and just to have those type of big names, blanket you and want you to do great things, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Every fighter doesn't have that, man, but he does, and that's awesome. That's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing to have those guys who that's been there where you're trying to go to give you their input and feedback. It's a beautiful thing.
Got you. I'm gonna get ready to let you get off here. Like I said, I wanted to go back and check and see what happened with this stream. I hate when my equipment ain't working right, but anyway, man, it's been a rough couple of weeks in terms of being busy on some different stuff. But what can you tell us, man, about this heavyweight, man? Jared Anderson, I believe he'll be on the card with you guys that night. What can you tell us about the kid?
Listen, keep looking out for Jared Anderson. That's a name that you're gonna write down, and that's a name that you're gonna want to follow in the beginning of his career, because he is the future. I know people probably hear this, but man, listen, that kid right there has a gift, and he's special. He's gonna be the most skilled, athletic heavyweight boxer that we've seen in a long time, and he's going to continue to do work. And I say within a few years, man, he'll be reigning heavyweight champion. It's going to be hard to dethrone him with the skills and the things that he possesses now. It's only going to be much more greater once he gets his professional experience.
Okay. And what'd you think of the debut of? I know we talked briefly on it up in Chicago, but what'd you think about the debut of Robert Easter Jr. at super lightweight against Adrian Granados?
Listen, that was a fight. Robert's proven to everybody that he's an exciting fighter. He's a smart fighter. He's a volume fighter, and he showed everybody. Listen, Adrian Granados is not like some I don't know, like no big guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude comes to win fights. There's been fights that he's been in that he beat Amir Ahman. He beat close fights with other big names.
Some people think he beat Adrian.
Well, everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion, but he's been in great fights, and he showed what he could do. And just for him, and he's actually a bigger man. He's fought at 47. Robert's never fought at 47, and to me, Robert brought the fight to him, and most people didn't expect that. And shit, man, Robert just, that's as a fan of boxing, that's the fights I want to see. But not as a coach, but Robert is a world champion. He knows how to. He knows what he needs to do to win, and I think definitely hold a couple straps at 140.
Okay. All right. I don't know, man. I'm gonna get ready to get off of here. I gotta actually make some dinner tonight. It's my free night, but I gotta go do something. Next Saturday night, man. Like I said, the live stream starts on ESPN the Plus at 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. That'll be two division champion. Around 11 p.m., 11:15 p.m., man. What's going to be the headline coming out of this fight?
Tyler McCreary shocks the world.
Got you.
That's going to be the headline. Tyler McCreary shocks the world. And I want to thank everybody who's supported us and that continues to support us, and all the new fans. Like I said, we're overwhelmed with all the support that we've been getting, and we just ask for your continued support, and go download ESPN Plus, and something special is going to happen November 30th.
Hey, now I know you interact with a lot of different people, being a trainer and being in the community the way that you are, and doing all the side work that you do and working with other fighters and whatnot, man. Has that been a problem? I asked Albert about this, talking to him ahead of the Vince Says fight, man. But has that been a problem for you with trying to educate people on, how to watch this fight with it not being on ESPN and with it being on ESPN Plus?
No, I don't think so, because ESPN is a big platform in itself, and then a lot of people have already downloaded ESPN. It was something they offered way before boxing, and in this era, a lot of fights are now being streamed through these type of apps. So I don't think it's an issue. I've never heard anyone in the boxing community say, well, we missed a fight because we couldn't stream it, or we didn't know how to download it. So I think they get more views on the app itself than why they can't be. I don't know, but a lot of people use it. I got ESPN. I mean, I ain't real too tech savvy, but I watch it. I download it myself and I watch it.
I wasn't meaning from the hardcores, the diehards. I just meant, if you guys have been promoting this to different people in the neighborhood or different people in the community, is anybody looking at you like crazy, like what the hell is this? I mean, are people kind of receptive and understanding that, hey, you're not gonna be able to watch it on TV regularly? You'll have to mess around with the ESPN Plus app. Are you finding that to be a problem?
No, everybody's been real. Everybody's been real understanding about it. The easiest way I explain to them they don't understand is hey, you got a PlayStation? I said, hey, Tyler, you can go to your apps on your PlayStation, because that's how I watch it, on PlayStation. Hey, you got a PlayStation, download it on your PlayStation, stream it from there. It's no different, but I haven't had an issue with it.
Okay. All right. Hey, well, look, man. We'll have to get together and do another podcast on your what is it? Everyday Talk.
With your host, Lamar, Champmaker, Wright.
Yeah, y'all be sure to check that out. Like I said, I do appreciate you coming in Milwaukee.